Anyway, I'll talk about spacing and structure like this triangle, which isn't all that actually great, but talk about those in a little bit. Actually, why don't I just talk about it right now? Because so the way I started this pattern was I was thinking I'm going to continue this, but I want to be structured about it. And structure means this is the same distance as this and this, which makes a triangle, which makes like a triangle structure because it looks like a triangle. That's part right here. And this part is also a triangle, which makes a diamond kind of thing. The thing is that I didn't actually, think about it that hard. So it might not be ideal. Like this spacing, I'm not exactly sure if that's 1.3 spacing. I just kind of eyeballed it. So if I was being super structure-y, I would want to do this and see that, yes, it is indeed 1.3. And not only that, is that this, if I were to copy-paste here, this kind of continues the same type of flow. Like this is all on the same line. So that's another added bonus of doing it that way. Part of that was created because this is a nice structure already. Like we started with this pattern over here, and just having this structure is pretty important. And it just sets us up to do this pretty nicely. And then from here on out, it's basically the same thing. We need to make sure that this is 1.3, and I don't think it is. So this should be 1.3, and this should be 1.3. So I'm going to, for right now, move this over here, and get an object over here. So now I can just very simply say, hey, is this 1.3 spacing across the way? And just get it to 1.3. Oh man. Oh, you know what's happening is that something here, yeah. So this, it wants to auto stack for me, but I want it to auto stack in a different way. So I want it to be here. Yeah, that's good. So now I auto stack here, which is what I want. I delete what I had over here and put this back. And then I would do the same type of thing, and in fact I could probably just copy paste and do that, which is probably what I did in order to create the pattern in the first place. But now I'll cut and paste over this so that way I don't have any issues. And use Control G so that way I get this kind of feel. And stack better. And then, do whatever I needed to do. But okay, that's the general idea of the pattern. A little bit about structure. Okay, right there. Again, we have another overlap that doesn't feel like it's thought through all that much. There are 3 places that you could consider overlapping. One that I think is the worst is that have it in the halfway point, kind of like I was talking about earlier. It doesn't look bad. It looks better than the original one, but it still kind of looks a little bit odd. Another one is simply stacked on here. That might be too big of a distance, so this is probably the one that I would go with. All up to you though, I'm not really sure. Basically, this looks better than what we started with, is the point. Because this overlap doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem like its positioning has anything to do with anything. So like one thing that could work is that if you think about doing something like this and making this straight, that at least has the idea of, oh, I set it up so that way the overlap makes a little bit more sense. But just unintentionally overlapping doesn't work a lot of the time. Okay. Probably a new combination, but whatever. There's a problem at the very end, so boom. This is an important note. This is a strong note, and if we're talking about hit sounds, this would probably be a finish. But we're not talking about hit sounds, so never mind. But this slider, this circle here is important to finish off the note. So even though it's not part of the singer, you still want to transition into the cymbal crash right here, because that is an important part, and you're not losing anything. You're not losing anything. So the singer's doing stuff right here, right? Like by having a note, you're not getting in the way of that singer doing things. You're just filling in what the singer is not doing, which is good. This break, if you wanted to, you could map. I think it's fine as a break, probably good, but I could see some people thinking otherwise. Okay, right here. So this was decided to be 1/4 note. I'm assuming to go with the intense singer right here, right? She has a 1/4 note here, so she should also have a 1/4 note right here because that's consistent. And these would have to be the same distance spacing. So I'll just copy this for now, but I don't really. Yeah. Yeah, so that works a lot better. You have to be a little bit consistent in what you're doing. Okay. This placement, I would just arbitrary. I don't want to talk about it, but whatever. You would probably just make it so that it's the same here. This is what I want to talk about. I think there's a way to get this a little bit nicer. Like, you haven't thought about the angles and the spacing between all these things. I mean, I guess the spacing's the same across the board, but this angle right here doesn't make sense with this angle, which doesn't make sense with that angle. So what I think you should do is have a trapezoidal structure. And what you would do in order to get that is that you would do something like this. So you start out like this, right? And then you can copy and paste. And the idea is that you do something like this. So this is now parallel to this, which was created because, you know, copy, paste, scale up. These are still going to be the same. They're parallel. So you just get it so that this is about the same spacing. Unfortunately, I didn't quite do it right because this next is 1.5, so it needed to be a little bit bigger, which is what I expected. I didn't expect it to get it right, but the idea is that you use your distance spacing using the 1.5 and get it so that this angle is still the same. Whatever. So now you have a little bit more structure. Oh, that looks interesting. But that's not what we did. So that could have been an option, but no. Let's honest with that. Anyway, so yeah, so that trapezoid looks a little bit better. This angle right here could maybe be changed. I don't know. I'm not really concerned about it right now. Well, we'll see. Similarly, this isn't the same exact parallel as this. But that might not be important right now. I was going to make a suggestion like, oh, well, that might be a good argument to curve this and then maybe rotate so that it doesn't look like it needs to be blanketed, which I will explain what that is in a second. But, it's probably fine. Okay, I want to talk about this pattern, but probably not right now. Something I want to show. I mentioned the blanket, and there was a good point. No, it wasn't. I must have passed it already. I'm not talking about it. No. Probably just coming up. Ah, this one's one. Okay, so let's talk about blankets. If you know what a blanket is, you can skip this section. So, like I was saying about structure, is that this distance right here is 1.6, but this distance right here is 1.8, which is not good. We want it to be the same. So what we would do is what we could do is we could rotate this until they are the same, and you can use this approach circle to help you out. Oops. So now, this is about the same kind of spacing between here and here. So that's a benefit of it, but it's still not exactly nice because this curve is a little bit too sharp. It needs to kind of come around this way a little bit. And then you still have the problem of, that might be a little bit better like this. So, so what I was saying about this is that, oops, is that this curve might not actually be the actual circular curve that you want. You might need to curve it a little bit more by doing kind of what I did, pushing that there. Because let's take this example to the extreme. Like we said, this distance here and this distance here is the same, but this doesn't really form a circle around this 4. So that's what a blanket is that you have this idea of, if you were to complete the circle like that, this part would be at the center. So that's the idea of a blanket. And usually things like this look good. You don't always want to use a blanket, because what happens is that this angle right here, like boom, 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 might be a little bit too annoying, but that's not. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes this could be fine. But yeah, so that's what a blanket is. So that's what I want to talk about. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. Okay, so finally I want to talk about a little bit about using angles to emphasize things, and I guess the spacing is not what I want to talk about here. But anyway, this note right here is kind of emphasized, partly because it's a downbeat. But you continue this kind of like circular type of flow, or more like a snaky kind of flow. What happens is that if you put this here, you emphasize this note, because you have to not just continue with what you're doing, you emphasize it by snapping. Snap it back over here. And that kind of change in angle might help you emphasize your notes in a stronger way. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm off, maybe you like this kind of linear type of flow, but I'm saying that is a technique that is, I think, worth looking into. The only thing I would say about this is to get it's just a little too close to looking like a square, that I might want to make it look like a square, and this might probably be better stacked or something. I'm okay with diamonds, just like it's just too close to being a square. You gotta choose, is it a diamond or is it a square? Anyway, I'm not gonna worry about that pattern too much. What I do want to worry about is this rhythm. That is a very strong pause. So just to fill in the pause, just to give it more fluidity, it might be just better to use a slider. And then maybe do the same kind of thing. Dun 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 dun. That I was talking about in the other kind of suggestion. Oops. Again, not this flow, but not this placement, but. And again, this might not be thought out all that much. I just want to, show you the rhythm. Dun, 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 dun.